Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Virtual Cheese Awards 2023, where we'll be showcasing best of the British cheeses. Uh, Today, I will be the moderator. My name is Gautam Krishna, and today I have with me two amazing, highly qualified judges, Hero Hirsch and Richard Neville. If you could just please introduce yourself, judges. Hero, first.
Hi there, I'm Hero Hirsch. I'm the head of retail at Paxton and Whitfield. I've been there for 15 years and so really excited to try some amazing cheeses today.
Richard?
I'm Richard Newell. I'm a cheese manufacturing consultant. I've been in the industry for just over 40 years, worked in a diverse range of different British cheeses.
Amazing. So in today's session, the first class that we'll be judging is Cheshire cheeses. So the judges will use a point system wherein the judges will be scoring the cheese different points for the 5 different attributes, and the cheese with the highest score will be the winner and will move forward for the best categories cheese. So judges, you can start whenever you're ready with the cheeses. So the first cheese would be B11182.
Okay.
The rounded Cheshire Hero.
Yeah, so it looks like it's been cloth bound, cloth removed.
Yep. Lovely clean rind.
Yeah, so if we're starting off with the appearance marks, I would say it's got a nice bright appearance. Looks like a very sort of evenly made cheese.
Yeah, I completely agree. What would we say for that, Hero? We're sort of scoring out of 10, I believe. Should we say an 8 or a 9?
Yeah, I would be happy to see it with an 8 or a 9, probably a 9 actually. It really is a very attractive piece of cheese.
A 9?
Sold.
Okay.
Let's go for a 9.
Great.
Brilliant.
So aroma points next. The aroma by the rind is quite strong and quite musty, isn't it? You can really smell that this is an aged cheese from the rind.
Yeah, well, I'm certainly getting, like you've said, the sort of clean, a fusty rind you'd expect with this type of cheese. When I actually smell the curds themselves, I'll be looking for something quite bright and zesty, almost, if you can say, a lemony aroma. Is a strange thing to say, but I'm not actually getting a lot of freshness to this.
No, I think that sort of aroma by the rind is actually infiltrating the paste quite a lot. So
yeah,
it's
I think you're right.
To get any of the sort of like you say, zestier notes in that.
So what would you say, Hero, for the aroma?
For aroma, I'm thinking a 5, maybe a 6. What do you think?
I'm probably only on a 5. I'm getting the rind nicely, but not the actual character of the Cheshire.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that.
All right, so that's a 5.
Okay. In terms of texture, clearly it's a crumbly cheese, so we'd like to think it would drop into crumbs.
Yeah, it's sort of actually it's resisting crumbling quite a bit, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got a nice, it's got a really good typical Cheshire crumbly texture. Yeah, lovely.
Okay.
I can't wait. I'm trying to eat it now.
Do you want to do a mark out of 10 for texture before we move to flavour?
So
I'd probably say 7 or 8 for me.
7 or 8?
Right.
Yeah, I'd be comfortable giving it a 7.
Let's go with 7.
Let's go with 7. Brilliant. Let's dig in.
And are we tasting?
Yes. Please feel free.
Interesting. I'm getting some lactic notes, but I can also taste the rind, but I'm not getting as per the aroma, the lemony, zesty, fresh, bright.
It's lacking in the sort of juiciness that I'd really want to see in a cheese of this type. I'm getting
Yeah.
quite a bit like sort of metallic-y, sort of bitter notes as well up front.
That's a shame because the cheese looks so promising. It's just not bright and zesty that you'd expect for a really tip-top Cheshire. Nicely made cheese.
So how much would you rate that, judges, the flavor?
Probably for a Cheshire, I'm probably a 5.
5.
I'd be inclined to go with a 5 actually. You're left with something which is a little bit, yeah, sort of metallic or sort of pencil leadish there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, it does look like a lot of care and attention has gone into making this cheese. So
Yeah.
it is a shame that it's just not quite delivering what I would hope for in terms of zesty.
Beautifully crafted. It's just
Yeah.
the flavour and the taste doesn't quite support it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Moving
So
on.
yes. So the next cheese, whenever we are ready, would be B11183. Richard, if you could just slightly move back the cheese a bit so that it can comes in focus. That's great. Yeah, that's perfect.
So this is a very interesting looking brinded cheese.
Oh yeah, so 1183 is this? Yes.
Yes.
This is, yes,
Yeah.
1183. Yes.
Oh yeah, so it's very interesting. Yeah, so we've got another natural rinded Cheshire. This rind quite sort of showing some signs of age, isn't it? It's sort of quite wrinkly.
It certainly is. It got some real character about it.
Yeah.
I'm
I would
also
say as
interested.
well-
There's some slight openness as well in the actual cheese curd.
Yeah, and I don't know how easily you can see this in the light, but I've got some quite interesting kind of variation in color there. I've got a little bit, possibly a little bit of rind ingress there. I'm not entirely sure. Something a
Yes,
little
we
uneven
can see
happening by the rind here.
Would you term it sort of staining?
Yeah, there's some speckling there, which makes me wonder that there's maybe something happening on the corner of this cheese that shouldn't have happened.
But from an appearance perspective, it's got some real theatre.
Definitely, definitely.
So how much would you guys score for the appearance?
I'd be going probably with a 9. I'm not sure it should quite have the openness it's got. For me, it's between an 8 or a 9. What do you think, Hira?
I think this is a bit difficult because I think the piece that I have, obviously a slightly different piece to the piece that you have,
Yes.
does have some quite. I think there may be a slight issue with this cheese just from the appearance. Were it not for that, I would be happy with a 9. But I think there's maybe some inconsistency between the two samples there.
I agree. Yes.
And so I would be more comfortable around a 7, or we could compromise this an 8.
Yeah, and we can't be, let's be honest, we can't be 100% sure that staining maybe hasn't happened in transit. So shall we perhaps compromise with an 8?
Sure, happy with that.
Okay.
Right. Yes. So how does it smell like? How's the aroma?
Clean and lactic.
The area that had some issue here has quite a bit of ammonia for
Has
me.
it?
It does have, not overly so, but it's detectable, clearly detectable. Moving away from that corner of the cheese, yeah, bright, lactic, very, very pleasant at the sort of diagonally opposite end. But
so that would actually indicate what you said to start with, that the mold ingress has broken down the protein and broken it down to, yep.
I suspect that may be
amino
what's
acids,
happened
then
just on this
ammonia.
corner. Yeah, rather than a transit damage.
Sure.
So how are the scores looking for the aroma?
I think because the piece that I have here, I wouldn't be able to go above a 6, but as I say,
I'm actually sort of mine is different because it hasn't had the mold ingress.
Yeah.
You don't ever expect a Cheshire to have ammoniacal notes. So really, I'm a 4 or a 5 on that.
Okay, because of the piece that's here. Sure.
Okay.
I think I could. I go with a 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it possible to judge it without that part, or do you think that's a damage that's in transit?
I don't believe that's transit damage.
Me neither.
Right.
It's
The fact
it's quite within the cheese, so I don't
Okay.
think that's something
Yes.
that's happened in
Sure,
the last
sure.
few days.
And the ammonia says there's been some duration of time with the mold spores breaking down the curd.
Sure. So that's a 5 or a
A
6?
5 with
A 5.
aroma.
Yeah.
Next on to the texture.
I suspect again, Hero, you'll have a radically different texture where you've got the breakdown.
Yeah, I
That could
wonder
be
if
more,
I might just try both
a bit
ends.
more
The cheese.
buttery there, I would think. While Hero's looking at that, I've actually got on my piece that doesn't have any mold ingress, I've got a really nice crumbly texture. Exactly what you would expect. Don't know
That
if you can
is a
see
really
that.
nice texture within the cheese.
Yes.
Where I've gone to the corner, it's much squidgier. It's broken down quite a bit. So you've got two quite different textures going on here, but the texture from the inside, from the center towards the center of the cheese is very nice.
The person who actually prepared the sample for the awards must have actually known and seen that there was that mold ingress there, which is interesting for me why that might be presented.
Yeah, if it's a
I'm bouncing on ahead and eating it here.
yeah, no, I've done that. I can't help it.
Breaks on a little.
So how much would you
should we award a point for texture though before we discuss the flavour?
Yeah, sure. So for me, the texture is an 8 or a 9 on the particular.
I was going to say an 8 as well. Yeah,
sure.
I'm very happy with that.
We're going to get on and eat it now.
I'm going to start with the center of the cheese because it is quite different from the edge that
Yes.
I have there.
Yes.
Quite a lot of acidity, not unpleasant amounts, but
Yep.
quite noticeable.
As we'd expect for a Cheshire then, nice and
Yep.
bright.
Mm-hmm. There's a sort of double cream to it almost, isn't it? Like a creaminess on the finish that's rather pleasant, like a sort of creme fraiche kind of quality.
I always smile when people try and explain cheese, and I've had colleagues who've said they get hints of bubblegum or hints of asparagus and all that, and I just think, but for me, I completely agree with what you've said, and it also got ever such a slightly fruity note, just going against my normal rules of descriptions. But
What type of fruit, Richard?
oh, that would be telling. So again, I'm not getting the sort of the lemony, zesty character that I'd expect with a Cheshire cheese, but it is very interesting in its own right.
I do think it's very pleasant at this end, but unfortunately I will have to revisit this corner, which is makes up about a third of my sample.
Yes.
And the breakdown, it's quite salty there. The ammonia aroma is kind of noticeable on the palate. So for me, I think I would have it sort of detracts from where we were at the center of the cheese. So whereas I might have been in a relatively high score up there, I'm thinking it's more like a 6 overall for flavor, just because of the two sides.
I think it's right what you've done, because if you'd purchased that and it was on a cheese board, on a dinner table, people would eat that part of it.
Yeah.
And they get a totally different impression. So I don't know if it's still blurred. Yeah. I'm thinking that I might just remove my blurred backdrop at some point for the next judging session, because it is impacting on what the consumers and the the viewers can actually see.
So slightly towards your left is sort of like the clear spot. I mean, to the left of, to your right. Then. Yeah, that's it. So that's
okay.
That's the, like.
I'm going to remove the blurred backdrop later. Anyway, for me, you said a 6.
For me,
I'm probably an 8 on the actual portion of cheese that I've got. We probably need to go with a 6 because we don't know if we buy this which one we're going to get.
yeah,
Sure.
yeah,
Sure.
Unfortunately,
So
that is
six
it is unfortunate. I do think that's a shame, but I can only really go on what's here.
Yeah.
All right. We can move on to the next one when you're ready, judges.
Okay.
So the next cheese would be B11184.
Here we are.
Okay. So appearance wise, this is looks like a fairly evenly made piece of cheese. Nice bright white appearance, sort of cream colored. We don't have the rind on this one.
And more what you would expect for a Cheshire, which was sort of the oldest British cheese as well, Cheshire, but normally made to be eaten quite young. And if you have a look on the surface of this, there's a very slight amount of free moisture. It's glistening.
Yes. Yeah, I noticed that as I removed it from the packaging, that this is the moistest of the Cheshires.
And arguably slightly paler in colour. So probably we're not here to compare against the previous, but I'm going to. It's carrying a little bit more acid. We can tell that because it's paler in colour.
Right.
Yeah. So how much would you score that for the appearance?
So in terms of what a Cheshire should look like, and I don't feel here we would mark it down because it's not got a rind, because many Cheshires are produced without a rind, most of them in fact. So for me, that's a 9.
Yeah, I'm quite happy to see it get a 9. It's looks like a very well made piece of cheese.
Yeah, it's very consistent, very uniform. Is that the right term?
Yep.
It is uniform, but it has still some character to it. You know, you can see some nice curd formation through it, and as you should.
Yeah.
We can move to the aromas.
Quite a lot going on here on the aroma.
Quite savoury.
Yep.
I don't know how you can smell something that's tangy, but it smells tangy, which is a bizarre thing to say.
It does have almost a sort of cheddar-y smell to it. It's not unpleasant at all, the aroma. I think it's actually quite nice. 7, 8.
Yeah, I'm a 7.
Yeah.
7.
I'm a 7.
That's
Yeah.
So
I'll
maybe
go on to
go on to the
texture.
You can see it has a nice crumble.
It does. Yeah, definitely. It's very crumbly.
So what would we say for crumbliness, for texture?
For texture,
I'm probably a 9 on texture there.
Yeah, I mean, are we equating the mouthfeel with texture as well as the?
Yes, we are.
Yeah, because I think it does have a very good mouthfeel. I think that crumbliness is really clear as you chew on it. So
we're looking for a silky moistness. We don't want a sawdust effect, which is you can get with a pourer. So this has a nice silky mouthfeel.
It does. I'm happy to see it get a 9 for texture.
And we can move on to the flavor.
It's really fresh, isn't it?
It is.
But it's delivering quite a nice balance, I feel. Like it's got that balance of savoury a little bit of salt, some nice acidity, not overly bitter, but it's there to kind of bring balance.
Yeah. If I was being brutally honest, I would say it's a perfectly acceptable, run-of-the-mill, reasonable Cheshire. Doesn't wow me, it doesn't sparkle, you know, but it's perfectly acceptable. So yeah, I guess for me it would be an 8 on flavour, 7 or 8.
I'd be happy to see it get a 7 or an 8.
Go on then.
Should we say 8?
Go for 8. Sold.
Super. Brilliant. So you're just in time for the result. So we've just finished judging the 3 Cheshires, and the winner of this round, winner of this class, is Cheshire B11184. And before anything, I would like to thank our sponsors, Butler's Farmhouse Cheddar, for our aprons. I should be wearing one, but there were some logistic issues. But you can see the judges rocking them on.
Really nice apron. My wife's looking forward to wearing it afterwards. Hopefully with something underneath it, but arguably not.
Yes. So no, just to inform, so judges, thank you very much for taking part and for all your hard work. It's much appreciated. It's so lucky to have such amazing judges on board. And I'll also like to inform about the live event on the 17th of May, where we'll be judging best of classes of best British cheeses. That's categories best English, best Welsh, Irish, and Scottish cheese, along with some awards that recognizes different talents and passions. Also, the day where we'll be crowning our supreme champion for the 2023. And with that, we come to an end for this session.